Sonic the Hedgehog and Dexter.
Huh?
Two very different characters in two very different universes with two very different vibes. I've been a Sonic fan ever since I was a wee boy, just a little guy, and I've recently ignited that passion by playing all the games, watching the movies, watching the TV shows, all types of things really. On the other hand, we have Dexter. Dexter's a show that I've watched pretty recently, within the last year, and I ended up really loving the show. I thought it was really interesting and probably one of the best live action, drama shows out there, for sure. If this is your first time seeing me, you probably wouldn't have heard of my other channel with my friend Gabe, called Jalen and Gabe. On that channel, we've been happening to stream all of the Sonic games, and during one of our streams, we had somebody named Dexter Morgan join our chat.
What's up? Hey,
Dexter! That's a Dexter Morgan profile.
Rita, are you staring at the same moon as me?
And for some reason, while we were playing the Sonic games and Dexter had joined, that somehow created a chemical reaction in my brain where I happen to think, would Dr. Eggman fit Dexter's code? And furthermore, if he does fit the code, would Dexter be able to get him on his table? And that's exactly what we're here to answer today.
Wait, but what is the code?
Who said that?
It was me, Bozo. What is the code?
I was getting to that part. You just gotta be a little bit patient.
Fuck all that. Hurry it up, lil bro.
Alright, bro. Alright.
That's right, submissive lil bitch.
Before we get any further, let's define what Dexter's code is. Dexter's code was created by his adoptive father, Harry Morgan, as a way to sort of channel and control Dexter's murderous urges. The rules of the code are as follows. I would like to go through these one by one to see if Dr. Eggman can reasonably fit the code crafted by Harry. I would also like to determine whether or not he could be one of Dexter's victims.
Surprise, motherfucker!
First things first, don't get caught. Dexter has loads of experience with evading the law, as well as setting things up so they work out in his favor. With all of his confirmed kills tallied up after each season, it adds up to 149... 149 confirmed kills that he got away with. And probably many more that are unconfirmed. That is a ridiculous number. It's fair to say that if Dr. Eggman ended up on his table, he would get away with that murder. I will say though, Dexter's been close to being caught, and his identity has been discovered many times. To name off a few names of people who have discovered him, it's Dokes, his brother Brian, Deb, Miguel Prado, Lila West, Arthur Mitchell, Lumen Pierce, Isaac Serco, LaGuerta, Saxon, and Angela Bishop, to name a few. Listing them off, that's a lot of people who Dexter did not mean to reveal that he was a murderer to. Dr. Eggman has an IQ of 300, higher than probably everybody I just named off this list. I could see it being likely that if Dexter ended up on Dr. Eggman's radar, Dr. Eggman would be able to deduct his true intentions and stop him. Let's give Dexter the benefit of the doubt though and say that Eggman is too preoccupied with his plot to take over the world, and he could use that as a chance to get close to Eggman or somehow catch him off guard.
Surprise, motherfucker!
It goes without saying that Dr. Eggman is anything but innocent. You could take any iteration of that character and he would never qualify as innocent. Except maybe Boom, but even then I would still call him not innocent. If we were to list off some of his crimes, they would include animal abuse, kidnapping, theft, attempted murder, treason, terrorism on a mass scale. He literally blew up the moon and tore the planet into pieces. Evasion of the law, that's an important one. Endangering the multiverse and reality. And even genocide. That's right, you heard right. Genocide. He repeatedly commits many of these crimes, and that honestly barely even scratches the surface of what he does. Why hasn't Sonic taken care of this guy yet? Eggman is a literal menace to society. Why haven't you done anything about him yet? I mean, I know you stop him, but you need to take care of him for good.
Stop tripping, Burr. I'm all about that freedom shit.
Nah, that's bull. That's bull. That's like the Batman and the Joker, bruh. You just gotta do what you gotta do, bruh. Isn't that your line? Isn't that your line? It was never about chivalry for me. I just gotta do what I've gotta do. Well, you just don't be doing it then.
Suck my balls.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I mentioned in his list of crimes that one of them was evading the law. Two prime examples of this would be Sonic X and the live-action movies. In Sonic X, he kind of constantly, every episode is evading the law or doing something that's illegal, and you know, the law is unable to catch him, and that's why they rely on Sonic every single time to save the day. In the live-action movie, they originally recruited him to work for them, you know, catch Sonic. And then he eventually started using means that were illegal and not supported by them, and then as a result started breaking the law and having to hide from them. One prime example would be when he got the Master Emerald. When he got the Master Emerald, the law was quite literally powerless to stop him, and they had to leave it up to Sonic and his friends, once again. Without hyperbole, the justice system means literally nothing to Eggman. He is quite honestly above it. All of his resources, all of his intellect is a tier above anything that the government or the law could effectively place on him, and that's why Sonic always has to stop him. Eggman may be too high of a target for Dexter to target, but I do believe that all of the crimes and all of the things that Eggman has done would at least land him on Dexter's radar.
Surprise, motherfucker.
It's fair to say that the murder of Dr. Eggman would definitely serve some purpose. He is unbelievably relentless in his crimes, and he's not going to stop unless somebody stops him. Unless the Dark Passenger stops him.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I feel like this one's pretty interesting, because how would Dexter blend in with Dr. Eggman? And I can see two possible scenarios for how this could go. Sonic and his friends have never been shy to human companions in the past. Two examples being Chris Thorndike and his family, and Thomas Wachowski from, you know, the live-action movies. Someone as seemingly nice as Dexter would have little to no issue getting close to Sonic and his friends. Sonic and his friends have worked with humans in the past. They've even worked with the likes of Dr. Eggman. He'd have no issue fooling them, I believe, because Dr. Eggman was able to do it himself. And Dr. Eggman is, on the surface, way less trustworthy than the likes of somebody like Dexter. The other, more difficult scenario would be getting close to Dr. Eggman. In most iterations of Sonic, Eggman tends to work alone, or with his creations, you know, all being robots. The only exception, at least that I know of this, would be the live-action Eggman, as we know that he has Agent Stone. Now, I did a little bit of research and I couldn't find out exactly why Agent Stone and Eggman were so close. But if by some way Dexter were able to follow the same means, or somehow replace Agent Stone, or somehow be side by side with him, the live-action Eggman he would maybe be able to get close to. If Dexter were to find himself in that position with Agent Stone, or with Agent Stone out of the way, he would not only have a way close to Eggman, but he'd have a way to get him onto that table.
Surprise, motherfucker.
This kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, but Dexter has no issue faking his emotions or his normality. He's able to blend in, and that's usually how he, you know, predates. What's the word for that? That's usually how he gets close to some of his victims. Two examples of this would be his personas for like Jim Lindsay and Kyle Butler. If you've seen the show, you know exactly those names. But like I said, this would be no issue for him, so this would be just business as usual for Dexter.
Surprise, motherfucker.
This one is essentially what the code and the show is exactly about. I mean, that's what the code was created for. So essentially, this one doesn't take much analyzing. I can say that this one would be pretty easy for Dexter, as it's business as usual.
Surprise, motherfucker.
With a figure like Eggman, it's hard to be prepared. Eggman has seemingly unlimited resources and an IQ that would be hard to fool. It's honestly pretty unlikely that Dexter would be able to do anything to significantly prepare for Eggman. considering that Dexter is just, well, I'm using this word lightly, a normal human. Eggman has experience dealing with enemies that would be hard for Dexter to even comprehend. Enemies like Sonic with superpowers and multiversal and dimensional, like reality warping beings. Dexter is just a serial killer who kills serial killers. It would be hard to sort of place them on that same level. However, for Dexter's sake, I will say he has beaten unbeatable odds before, multiple times. One prime example being his kill for Little Chino. I'm not sure if you remember that, but he was a huge guy in Dexter, and it was honestly unbelievable to me that he was even able to get close to him and kill him. Once again, making the far-off assumption that Dexter could get close to Eggman and murder him, he'd have no issue disposing of the evidence, because like I said, this is something he's experienced with. He's killed 149 people confirmed, most likely more than that. So when I do the math in my brain, one more wouldn't be too much for me, even somebody like Dr. Eggman.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I grouped these next three together because they're all so similar and they're all already in Dexter's wheelhouse. I don't believe Dexter would form any real connection to Dr. Eggman, as there would be no emotional weight and there would be no reason for him to get personally close. There would be no reason for it to get personal. So generally, I believe these next three rules of the code would be easy for Dexter to follow, master, and employ in the murder of Dr. Eggman.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I feel like this last rule of the code would be one of the most important for Dexter to follow with Eggman. If you were to ruin his timing or mess up, quite frankly, Dexter would never get a second chance with Dr. Eggman. Dr. Eggman is too smart, too evil, and too mistrusting to ever let something like that happen twice. If Dexter were to try to attack and kill Eggman with a half-assed plan, Eggman would see right through it and most likely kill Dexter instead. I do believe that Dexter is smart enough and cool-headed enough to effectively have a plan for Dr. Eggman, but this would be one of his most difficult, if not his most difficult kill.
Tonight's the night.
Drumroll. Yeah, obviously, he definitely fits the code. Amongst the list of things that Dr. Eggman has done, it would be impossible for him to not fit the code, much less anybody's code, really. He's a public menace, a menace to society, and somebody needs to stop him. In a world like Sonic, with superpowered beings, he's still one of the #1 threats. His intellect could be considered a superpower in itself. 300 is insane. He has infinitely more resources than Dexter. He has more experience than Dexter, fighting superpowered beings, and just generally smarter than Dexter is. So do I believe that Dexter would get him on his table? Honestly, it's pretty unlikely. When I was mentioning before the scenarios in which I could see that Dexter could get close to Eggman, like for example, Dexter getting close to Sonic and his friends, I could see Sonic defeating Eggman and then Dexter taking that weakened Eggman as an opportunity to sort of inject him with the tranquilizer and then get him on the table. And that's far-fetched in itself because I don't believe Sonic and his friends would even allow that. The only other likely scenario would be in the live action. If Stone were out of the way, he could get close to him, take that position, and inject the tranquilizer then. And then he'd have perfect privacy to inject him on that, or to get him on that table as well. Other than that, I just don't see it being possible. I mean, Eggman has so many robots, so many creations, so much everything, that Dexter, it would be so hard for Dexter to get past any of that and murder him. That doesn't mean he wouldn't try though, because I believe Dexter likes the challenge. But regardless, most situations of Dexter defeating Eggman would be completely unfathomable. But let me know, do you guys agree with my analysis of Dexter versus Dr. Eggman? Do you believe that Dr. Eggman fits the code? Let me know down below in the comments. This is my first video on this channel, and probably my first real video essay that I've ever done before. So if you guys enjoyed this, and you guys think I should make more videos like this, yeah, please like, please comment, please subscribe, let me know. This is the first video, so I appreciate everybody who came here and watched. Maybe you guys didn't, but if you did, thank you so much. If you made it this far, it means a lot to me. I'll definitely keep working on videos like this in the future, so hopefully you guys stick around for more, and I'll catch you guys next time.